Hi, today I want to talk about happiness. So not what is happiness or how to achieve happiness, but who controls our happiness and who is responsible for our happiness. So let's have a look together. Okay, so what I'm sharing here with you is actually a reflection that came after an episode where my daughter was misbehaving and I was telling her, what you're doing is making your mother sad. And it's making me sad. And I said that, and I said that, and I know because I heard that before. So when I was a child, I also heard that from my mother, from my parents or grandparents. And what I start to reflect later is that what I'm actually telling my daughter is that she's responsible for her parents' happiness. And this is not true. What was making us sad was not the fact of my daughter was misbehaving, but what's the story that we were telling ourselves about that. Because we probably were telling ourselves, I'm not a good parent, I cannot raise a child properly, I must have done something wrong. So those kind of stories, that's what make me sad. It's not what my daughter's doing. And this make me think that we actually incorporate that and we feel responsible for other people's happiness. The only thing that can make someone happy or not is the story that they tell themselves about whatever happens. So if you finish a relationship or if you lose someone you love, it's not the fact that will make you sad, but what will you tell yourself about the fact that will make you sad or not. I lost my grandma, who I was really close to, and I remember that I was sad, of course, for a couple of days, but there was a mix of sadness and at the same time relief, because I knew she was suffering. She was already quite old. She was going through pain, and as much as I know that I miss her talking to her, the conversations that we had, I know that for her it was better. So it's kind of it's egoistic to try to want that person longer with us, even though they're suffering. But of course we are sad when we lose them. But in other cultures, actually death is not exactly sad. Some cultures even celebrate death. So because we incorporate this responsibility for other people's happiness, we also make the connection that if I'm responsible for other people's happiness, so other people are responsible for my happiness. And then I start to expect that other people will make me happy, that I need a relationship to be happy, or that I need someone to behave in a specific way to be happy, when again, that's not true. Marcus Aurelius already said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It's all within yourself. It's all in your way of thinking. I think he had a great point there, because there's nothing that happened outside me that will define if I'm happy or not. The analogy that I thought is, imagine that you could have a remote control that could make you happy or sad. Would you give this control to anyone else? I don't think so. But that's what we do. But it's not just one control, but it's like several remote controls. And we keep distributing them. We give them to a boss, to our partner, to our children, and we give them to our work, and we give them to things. We give them to Facebook, to Instagram. Will my hamburger picture get a lot of likes? This may define if I'll be happy or not. And what happens is the more remote controls I distribute, the less control I have over my own happiness. And then my day is full of anxiety because I have no idea if I'll be happy or not. It all relies on things that are out of my control. And if my partner is on a good day and treats me well and shows me love, I'm happy. But then I leave home and then there's a huge traffic jam and I cannot get to work in time, and then I'm sad. And then I get to work and my colleagues or my boss look me in a not friendly way, then now I'm feeling threatened, I'm really sad, it's not my fault. See? And so all this is putting my happiness outside. So okay, Jill, yeah, we do that. What can I do differently, or how can I do differently? Well, my approach to that is just to build awareness. So every time something is make me sad or make me happy, I just stop for a while and have a look at why is that make me sad or why is that make me happy? Just to understand what is the story that I'm building up inside my head about that is having this result. And also evaluating, is this really worth to be controlling my happiness or my mood? If the bus is late, being sad or being raged will not change anything and will not help either. So my point here is that if we look more inside and if we recognize that happiness is about what the way I'm looking at the facts and not about the facts themselves, we can control our happiness. Now, I have to say that I have to comment on some points there because this can be misused. Because if you say, well, I'm not responsible for anyone else's happiness, so I don't care, I don't need to do anything. Well, that's not exactly like that. The thing is, I can't control or I can't be responsible for anyone else's happiness because at the end of the day, it's up to them. I can make everything that is in my power to make my wife happy, and she still may not be happy. So my responsibility to the people who I love is to provide them with an environment that nurtures happiness. But I cannot be responsible for their happiness because this is up to them. And in the same way, it's not because happiness is in my control that I can accept situations or circumstances in life that don't nurture my happiness. So it's my responsibility as well to build for myself an environment that nurtures my happiness. Because to try to be happy in an environment that doesn't nurture our happiness it's not sustainable. Finally, I have to touch in the point that when I'm talking about happiness here, I'm not talking about being happy all the time. I'm not talking about denying sadness. Sometimes sadness is important, it's a part of a process. And also we only value happiness because sometimes we are sad. Otherwise, we would not have the reference. So how do I know if I'm happy if I've never been sad? So sadness is useful, it has its place. What I'm saying is, we also have to recognize when sadness is in its place and that we can embrace it and we can feel it, accept it I don't know if at the end I just rumbled here, but well, this was a thought that came to me some time ago and I wanted to share. I hope this is helpful and see you next video. Bye!